And as you were hearing and seeing, those are some of the moments from the Little Miss AKA pageant, capturing some of those moments of the workshops and the programs that the young girls were doing. It's all part of a program that's being sponsored by the local chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, the Kappa Lambda Omega chapter. Karesse Small is the chair of that activity. It looked like the girls were having a good time there, putting together their scrapbooks that you talked about, building those journeys and starting to figure out what they want to do later in life.
Correct. Correct.
So when you took on this charge, leading this particular program, what drew you to it, I guess we should ask?
Well, the first thing, I worked 2 years ago on the previous pageant in production. Growing up, I took dance, so I was always on the stage. It just seemed natural to me to want to do something like this, and I love working with the girls. I don't have kids of my own. I do have a niece, but just to get and see the smiles from the girls and get the hugs when you come in there. But I love all things pageantry. I know that sounds crazy, but that's just me, and I have enjoyed it. It's been a humbling experience, and just I wouldn't have passed it up for anything.
You talk about 2 years ago when this happened. So let's give people an understanding of how often these happen and what their opportunities are to get involved if they've got a daughter that fits that age range. So these are not yearly activities.
Correct.
Every other year this event happens, correct?
It's a biannual event, and what we do when we raise that money, it sustains for the scholarships for 2 years, as well as all of our some of our community service projects for 2 years.
Wow.
So as I stated before, when you know a chapter member can bring that girl in, but it's ages 7 to 12. One requirement is there is an application fee for that. But we also have a website online, so if you want to go to the Kappa Lambda Omega website, there's a Little Miss AKA sign there, and you can check back to see when it's open for application time.
Because you're closing up the activities for this current pageant and program.
Correct.
Will wrap up in November.
In November.
And so you'll start again 1 year from now,
yes,
looking
correct.
for those young girls. If you don't know a member of the organization, can the girls still come? Can the parents still kind of contact Kappa Lambda Omega and see if there's a way for their children to be involved?
Yes, so there is also an email address when you go to the website. Send an email and somebody will collect that information, put your daughter's name, her age, and a telephone or an email contact number, contact address, and we'll get back to you on that.
You also talk about this fundraising opportunity, and I guess that is not just the program itself is important, but that's key as well, because it's providing scholarships for other young ladies going to college. But what is the requirement there as far as families are concerned for fundraising, and how do they go about, you know, finding those supporters of their cause?
Well, we have some fun, interesting ways. We call it fundraising, F-U-N.
Instead of fund.
Right,
I like that.
to keep it light. But the requirements are to raise a minimum of $500. Anything beyond that is just extra and goes to the scholarship. So we love that. But not only that, you can. One of my suggestions was to have a spaghetti dinner where you can invite your friends and family and charge for a plate. That seemed to go over really well. I saw on Facebook that some people set up some fundraising sites through Facebook. They also did a candy sale if they're heavily involved in their churches or any other organizations. It's always nice to sell something. People want to buy things to collect that money. But once it gets started and once you have that money coming in, it's amazing how much each girl is able to raise.
Wow. And then beyond that, Karesse, talk a little bit about the fact that this isn't just an opportunity for little girls. You've got a side program, not as large as this one, but still just as important, with little gents.
Yes, so we have escorts for the girls, and we wanted to get them involved as well. They take headshots. They do participate in a workshop. Their workshop was also around goals, because it's important for our young men, just as well as statistics-wise, to have goals themselves. So they did that. They're also practicing on something special for the pageant, and so they are also enjoying themselves, and you know, girls and boys totally different. So that's been an experience in itself too.
Has the organization seen this program grow through the years? I'm not sure how many were involved when it started, but you've got 44 going this year, not including the young men who are participating. Is this an expansion of what you've seen in the past?
We definitely have more girls than the last 2 years, but at the same time, I think where we've grown is technology-wise. So with the way that we turn in money now is more electronic. The website now, I think we've seen growth in that area, and then we've introduced some new events. That's where I would say the growth is.
And I thought of another point about the money matters, and that is, obviously, this is a not-for-profit organization in general, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Is there a way for corporations and businesses who may see that this fits their focus areas, this focus on girls fits their focus area, is there a way for them to give and participate and donate as well?
Thank you for bringing that point up. Yes, we have different sponsorship levels, and with those levels, there are different ways that you can advertise your business. So our top level allows you to have a logo in the souvenir journal that we offer, also have your name printed on a banner, and then you receive complimentary tickets to the pageant, and then we also will speak your name on a PowerPoint presentation. So several ways to get your name out there, and different ways in different categories to do that.
It's sort of an interesting concept, I think. Obviously, it's a basic one with women giving back and bringing up, you know, grabbing the bootstraps, they always say, of the young girls who are coming behind them. But what is the ultimate mission and goal? I mean, where do you hope to see this program going? Any stories of girls who started way back when and where they are now and how this impacted their lives?
For me, I think that the greatest gift would to see them come as a senior year and be a recipient of that scholarship. I think that is also not just for me, but for our chapter, is to grab these girls, cultivate them, enrich them, encourage them, and in the end, see them successful and perhaps come and see them eventually in our chapter. I think that's the overall goal nationally for our sorority.
And we maybe give people a little bit of information about the sorority. You have been a member for how many years now?
Since 20 years. I'll be 20 in November.
Wow, fantastic. That's a long time, because sometimes we join things, we don't always stick with it.
That's
so
right.
that's an accomplishment, that's
Thank
for
you.
sure. And what was it about this particular organization that kind of suited your fancy?
Well, for me, my grandmother, she was a member for over 50 years.
Wow.
And several of my family members. But when I stepped foot on campus, when I went to college, those girls were it for me. They embodied everything that I would want to be in a woman. And not only that, a chance to get to serve your community is key. And we are able to do that at any time being in this sorority.
As we kind of wind down rather to the last couple of minutes, I want to make sure people get a good understanding of how to get in touch with KLO, and particularly if they're interested in this particular program. Can't do it this year, although I guess they could reach out if they wanted to. Correct. And kind of put their name on the list in 2 more years when it starts again. But let's give those details of the website, the email address, and how people can reach out if they're interested in the Little Miss AKA pageant and program.
Okay, the website is KappaLambdaOmega.com. There is a link on there that says Little Miss AKA that they can click on. The email address is LMAKA@KappaLambdaOmega.com.
Okay, LMAKA@KappaLambdaOmega spelled out.com. Yes. Okay.
Correct.
Fantastic. And the numbers, are there limited numbers of girls that can participate?
As many as we can sponsor. Yes.
And if they don't have a sponsor, there's a way to connect girls with members of the organization. Correct. Who may be looking for girls. Because maybe all the members don't have a young girl that they can bring to the group, right?
Yes, that's correct. So if they don't have somebody to sponsor them, we will find a sponsor for them.
Well, it sounds like a beautiful program, and it sounds like you've done a fantastic job making sure that those little girls get some positive input influences in their life. And I know while we talk about it being a pageant, there's certainly power behind the programs that are there as well. So thank you so much for sharing that information with us. And thank you for joining us. We will see you again next time.